Hello again, Taurus. This is your mid-monthly reading for March 2017. We're going to be looking at the last 2 weeks of March for you guys. So before we begin, I have 2 cards for you. And I like what you're pulling here because to me, it's saying that you're not just blindly following your passions, like you're actually putting thought into what you stand for here. So from Le Vampire, you pulled reason. Listen to advice, think clearly, and intellect. Working with this card says time to sit calmly down, clear your mind, then begin to work your way through the details of a dilemma. It also talks about how there may be a person around you right now who is able to advise you. Please ask them for their assistance and listen and act when that good advice is given. But clearly here you're really thinking about what it is that you're going after with your passion, which is what you pulled from Chakra Wisdom. The inspiration says that you are correct to feel passionate about your position. Follow your instincts, for you know intuitively what is right for you. And then the personal questions here are my daily actions supporting my real passion? What am I willing to stand for? And then the key ideas are following your passion, being authentic, taking a stand for yourself, and being acknowledged. And also being emotionally centered. So, I really feel like, you're not just blindly following something here. Whatever it is that you're passionate about means a lot to you, and you're really thinking clearly about how to follow it. Here we go. Here is the energy coming through. So, yeah. Reason, clarity of thought, thinking clearly about your passions. I love it. The Ace of Swords is absolute clarity of thought, seeing and speaking the truth. And to me, it's you communicating what you stand for when it comes to your passions. Again, reason, thinking clearly, using your intellect. That's perfect. It's perfect to see. The past coming through, judgment, man. Seeing judgment immediately, for me, I think of needing to be okay with the past. But it's also about hearing that call. Hearing that calling of your soul. That's one of my favorite parts about judgment because it's like there's immediate clarity. Like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. Now, also with judgment, again, and I've said this over and over, the whole sequence to me speaks about reincarnation. Between judgment, the world, and the fool. But again, you need to be okay with past events before you move forward. And that being the past coming through is telling me that, again, there's clarity there. There's clarity on what it is that you want to do, but then not only that with, your past. And that's perfect to see. And in the present moment, now I see why there is a need for, clarity and reason. Seeing the Five of Cups to me, and then looking at judgment above it, I have to wonder here if you didn't, lose something that is like emotionally hurting you. Seeing the Five of Cups in the present moment, though, with the Ace being the signifier, it's like almost covering that up. But there's something going on there where emotionally there's some pain. And again, the focus needs to be on what you still have rather than what you have lost. Not all is lost, but, that's hard to do. It's hard to do when you're feeling like shit emotionally. And again, being separated from the things that we love. And that's, immediately what I feel like seeing that in the present moment. But, having judgment as the past coming through, it almost feels like with the Five of Cups sitting there that you need to be careful about staying stuck in this feeling of being separated from what you love. It's like you need to be okay with the fact that something may have finished. Is what I feel like. But emotionally, you're still like, it hurts. And it sucks. But I feel like with the Ace of Swords sitting there it's like, even through, the emotional junk, you're still able to see clearly what is going on around you. Like, you understand the situation. You understand what caused you to feel this emotional blah. But it's still, in the present moment for you. Future conditions, the Page of Swords. Now, see, this is where I get iffy. Because when I see the Page of Swords, I immediately think messenger of conflict. What the hell is this person talking about? Now, seeing the Five of Cups above the Page of Swords, that to me is not the truth. It's like having somebody who is like immature and like talking shit is what I feel like. But it's like you're cutting through that bullshit with the Ace of Swords. And again, reason, thinking clearly, using your intellect, where I don't feel like the Page of Swords is. Not with that 5 sitting in front of him. But I worry here, I worry. Seeing Judgment again, and then you've got like the 5 of Cups and the Page of Swords, Seeing the Page as future conditions, I would be careful about being surrounded by people who are more interested in gossiping. And then the Page of Swords, to me, the pages are always messengers, but this could definitely represent somebody with, an immature intellect. And this could be an air sign. Like somebody who's like intentionally causing conflict in your life, and emotionally it's making you feel like shit. But you're still able to cut through it. I mean, that Ace of Swords is saying that, no, it's like blocking that page. But still, emotionally, it's like, ugh, man, bastard, you know? And I think with Judgment, too, it also talks about passing judgment on others and yourself, that you need to be careful there. But I don't like that page. I'm immediately questioning, what are you doing? What the hell are you saying? Your best path to follow, the Three of Pentacles. Now, seeing that to me, when you look at what you pulled with the Oracle cards and seeing the Ace of Swords, perfect. Perfect. The Three of Pentacles, it's just starting out, but, again, you're being recognized for the work that you're doing here. You're showing off your skills. The 8 would be refining it, but here you're just starting out. But more importantly, the Three of Pentacles to me says that you're doing the right thing here. That when it comes to the situation here involving whatever's coming through from this asshole, you're going to do the right thing in cutting through that bullshit and being able to think clearly through the nonsense. But, emotionally, it's like, it still sucks. But the Three of Pentacles is your best path to follow, is saying that whatever it is that you're doing, you need to continue doing because you're doing the right thing here. And what you're doing is using your reason and thinking clearly. It doesn't mean that whatever this person is doing here isn't hurting, because clearly it is. It's hurting. But you're smarter than that. But it's still like affecting you in the present moment. And your environment, death. Yeah, whatever is going on here with, this conflicting shit here and the emotions that it's causing, with death sitting in your environment, it's pretty much saying that you're going to be forced to go through that transformation. Out with the old, in with the new. One door closes, another opens. Death and transformation on a deep spiritual level. The thing for me, though, when I see death is I immediately feel like you don't have a choice here. You can either fear it, accept it, or reject it, but either way it's going to happen. But with what's going on with you emotionally, I feel like it does need to happen. And it being in your environment, and with what you're pulling with the Oracle cards, I really feel like this is what you need to be doing right now, is going through that deep transformation, and again, cutting through that bullshit and seeing the truth, speaking the truth, having the truth known. But whatever is going on here, whoever this person might be, they're no good. No good. The Page of Swords and like the King of Swords, for me, immediately when I see them, they have to have like the most fantastic cards around them for me to be like, oh, okay, this is not such a bad thing. But that Five of Cups, nope. Conflict. It's like somebody wanting to create conflict. And it may have to do with your passions, your hopes and your fears. Now, the Knight of Cups, there's an offering being made here. And the Knight of Cups having to do with love and romance here. Let me move these over so you guys can see this. Sorry, working with a new camera here. The Knight of Cups being there is like, you have to watch for actions here. Words don't mean shit. Words don't mean shit. Whoever this person is, it's like they're giving you conflicting messages and you're cutting through the bullshit. It's like you're hoping that their offering is true, but emotionally you know that it's not. And I think that page is like reaffirming that, which is why death is sitting in your environment right now. I feel like, and I hate saying this, but I've got to be honest here. I feel like somebody is like giving you, false hope as to what they're offering you. But you see it. You see it and you know it. With the Ace of Swords sitting there in reason, yeah. But it's like emotionally it really sucks because it's like you were hoping that what was being offered here was going to be true, but it's not. You're still doing the right thing by taking a stand for yourself when it comes to your passions. If you're hoping for something more from what this person is offering, passion again is taking a stand for yourself. But, again, actions are what are more important here. And I feel like, seeing him in that position, that his actions are just they're not cutting it. They're not cutting it. And, looking at these two, it could be a Scorp, just saying. But it could either be an air sign or a water sign. But I feel like whoever this person is, they're not being truthful with you about what they're trying to offer you. Oh, and the outcome, man, look at the messengers. So, seeing the Page of Pentacles, and with the Three of Pentacles, to me, it's like you're willing to work through the bullshit. It's almost like what I feel like seeing that is you're wanting to go with it. It's like you're wanting to go with it, but it's going to force you into some change. And reason is like showing up for you to, really tap into that clarity of thought when it comes to what this person is trying to offer you. The Page of Pentacles, that's achievement through hard work, which is what you're doing with the Three of Pentacles, and this could be somebody you're working with. But that page to me, I feel like is you coming out saying that, you may not fully understand what's happening here, but it's like you're willing to work with what this person is trying to offer. It's just like you're wanting to cut through the bullshit is what I feel like. Because, obviously you don't want to be in emotional pain, On Judgment, I almost wonder, looking at it, right? It's like, I think that you're passing the right judgment on this person, but seeing the Page of Pentacles pull out, I feel like you're going to do it anyway. Like, you're wanting to work at it anyway. Even though there's potential here where it just may not turn into anything, reason is telling you to think clearly about the situation. The Ace of Swords says that you're going to be able to cut through the bullshit, which, Taurus, yeah, absolutely. Every Taurus I've ever met does not bullshit around. They get right down to the truth. I've never met one who wasn't, on shit like immediately and calling it out for what it is. That's what you do. But I feel like here you're kind of being true to your own nature and being stubborn and doing something that you know may not turn out the way you wanted to anyway. But clearly you're passing the right judgment here, but it's almost like you need to experience it because, again, passion, it's like, the story behind that card is that, the people in this kingdom don't understand why this princess is like doing the things that she's doing, right? And she's taking a stand like, I'm going to do this anyway because it's what I want to do. And that's you as the Page of Pentacles. It's like, I'm going to do this anyway because it's like you need to find out. It's almost like you need to find out. And again, you're putting in work. And I almost feel like, you're clearly going to do the right thing. With the Three of Pentacles sitting there, clearly you're going to do the right thing when it comes to whatever this person is offering you and what they're actually telling you. But it's like you're wanting to find out anyway. And energy. Seeing that with reconnecting with spirit, I feel like, when you come out of the death cycle, you're still pulling that reason and that clarity of thought. But that energy within you is like renewed when it comes to the Page of Pentacles, is you pulling out here. And compassion. Compassion is most important for having compassion for yourself and what you're dealing with here. And reconnect with spirit. I love that one. You also have to have compassion here for the other person. I almost wonder if maybe they're just misguided. I mean, seeing compassion show up, I have to wonder if, like they're not realizing that what they're saying is not matching their actions and it's hurting you. And it's like you see it. But really, with reconnect with spirit, that's definitely the death cycle. That is the purpose of the death cycle. And energy, I feel like, there's going to be this burst of energy that comes out of this situation where emotionally you're like, blah. And then all of a sudden, boom, you come out as the Page of Pentacles like, no, I'm going to take a stand for my passions. And you have this energy backing you. I like it, Taurus. I would just be careful. I would be careful with the actions that this person is showing you. And, I think that whatever it is that they're telling you may not match their actions, but there's a part here where maybe you need to have a little bit of compassion and understanding for them. And that explains why you are pulling out with the Page of Pentacles. It's like you're willing to work at this. All right, Taurus, so clearly here there is a situation going on with a person, and I feel like this person may be emotionally and mentally immature. And it's like they're offering you something here, but their actions aren't matching their words, is what I feel like. And you clearly are able to see through this. I mean, these two here say it loudly. You're able to cut through the bullshit. You're seeing the truth. You know the truth. But I feel like, man, there may be a passion here for this person, even though what they're doing is hurting you emotionally. Seeing the Five of Cups there and the Page of Swords immediately, I think that, this is somebody who is talking shit and not really following through with actions. And I feel like, they're giving you an offer here. And it's like, the other part of it too, I mean, when you look at compassion from soul trees and then you look at judgment talks about being careful about judging other people. Same thing with compassion, But I really feel like with judgment coming through, you're making an accurate assessment of the situation. Like, you know what's going on. You're cutting through the bullshit. You see it for what it is. It's just that there is a part of you that's wanting to do it anyway, which I can understand. People may not understand why you have a passion for this person. And you're wanting to take a stand and do this anyway. And with the Page of Pentacles, yeah, I really feel like this is you coming out saying that you're willing to learn and to grow with this situation. Because, clearly you're wanting to give this person a chance here. But I feel like, you're going to be doing the right thing when it comes to judging the situation for what it is and how you deal with this person with, regards to what they're saying and what they're actually doing. But, the death cycle, though, reconnecting with spirit, I really feel like that's the important thing here. This situation is going to force you into needing to change who you are. And then seeing energy, I really feel like with the Page of Pentacles coming out that you're going to have, energy, this sense of energy restored to you. But then it's also a warning that you need to be careful where you're spending that energy. If you know the situation is not going to come out the way that you're expecting it to, are you really sure that you want to do this? But I feel like you're going to anyway. But you're being smart. You see the situation for what it is, but truly you're deciding here to go ahead and go along with it because, again, I feel like you have a passion for this person. This person is somebody that you have compassion for, but again, you have to remember that you need to have compassion for yourself too if they're not giving you what they're saying and what they're showing. With the Five of Cups sitting here, I worry because it's like there's a part of you that knows that emotionally you may not get what you want, but I feel like you're willing to give it a try anyway.